My firefighter was my brother, and I was 6 years older than he was. And we grew up as best friends. We played together. A lot of my friends were his friends, and vice versa. So we spent a lot of time together, and fortunately had been best friends for our entire lives.
My son is Anthony Grider, mostly known as Tony Grider. And he has wanted to be a firefighter all of his life. I recall a certain time we were on our way to church, and 2 hours was a little long for a little child to sit in church. So he said, "Mom, you know what I want to be when I grow up?" And I said, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up, Tony?" He said, "I want to be a fireman on Sunday and a policeman and a preacher through the week." So he was that firefighter. And he has worked many different places. At the time of his death, he worked 3 different fire places. And he was a paramedic, he was EMT, he was a jack of all trades and loved every minute. And he loved people. There was no one he didn't love. He loved the old, the little. Color did not make a difference. So I've just been really, really proud of my son. He was working as probably as a paramedic, or no, he was EMS at this time, and I'm not sure what his role was then. But he was helping to move this lady. And she just kept saying, "Oh, Jesus, oh, Jesus," just over and over and over and over. So they were going up and down stairs and everywhere. And she kept saying, "Oh, Jesus, help me, help me, help me." And he looked down at her and he said, "Yes, my child." And the little lady stopped. So that was his ministry, I guess. We've always enjoyed that story. We know much about brotherhood. When we spent 30 days in the hospital, firefighters, policemen, people were with us around the clock. And they still are so supportive of us. We have gained extra members in our family. I'm Mom Grider to a lot of people now, and I love it. So fire departments and any kind of first responders mean a lot to us.
Tony isn't my biological father, but he raised me like his own, and I think that bringing me his family, bringing me in, and the firefighter family, it just means that it meant everything. He taught me my ways. He taught me the importance of family, of religion, of keeping, how to be passionate in all things. He never met a stranger, so I never met a stranger because of that. And now I'm able to carry him with me everywhere. He gave me 2 wonderful brothers that I never regret. But yeah.
The fire department was like a second brotherhood. And it just meant a lot to us after he passed. They were there to support him and us, and that just meant how much he had an impact on the world.
The one thing that I would want people to know about my brother is he lived each day to its fullest extent. He never took anything for granted. If he was thinking about you, you better believe that you would get a phone call from him that day. So I don't think he missed anything in life.
When he would come into a room, everything would light up. So that means a lot to me. Just for him to be able to spread some cheer, to lift people up, to help people.
There was no way you could come in contact with him and not be a future friend. Every single person, almost every single person he came in contact with, like 2 weeks later, they would be at your house, at the movie theater, wherever. As long as they're with him, they're a friend now.
He was just so giving to everyone.
He was very thankful for each and every day. That's always stuck with me. You know, he was just always glad that he was given another day. He knew it could be taken away in a minute. He was thankful for food, just for anything in its simplest form.
May I just add one thing? He was a very special person, even from a baby, because he was diagnosed as a PKU. And that is that he had to control a certain amino acid, phenylalanine, with the diet. If not, then he would be mentally handicapped. So he, through all of this training, through all of this hard work, through all of this, God was with him. And I'm just very, very thankful that he got that little test, PKU test, when he was 28 days old. And then, of course, he was put in the hospital and analyzed and put us on a diet, and we stuck with it. And he was so good to stick with that diet. So very, very thankful that, as a mom, that he did that.
There was no way you could come in contact with him and not be a future friend. Every single person, almost every single person he came in contact with, like 2 weeks later, they would be at your house, at the movie theater, wherever. As long as they're with him, they're a friend now.
It meant quite a bit. He was so loving, so caring. He would look out for other people more than he would himself. And I guess he tried to save the world.